Right, let me just get my feet under the table. Looks dark. Dark. Alex is Stocking. Evening all. Been a while. Good to be back. Welcome back, Alex. Tom Murray. Hi, Adrian. Hope you're well. Love your channel. Thank you, Tom. And I think I'm going to be mentioning you a little bit later because you've been commenting on some of the videos. Wonderful. Dame Anna, boss is having techie problems again or playing Trade the Mean. Oh, Dame Anna. No, I have a confession. The hibiscus was a little late this evening. Can you see that? Just says Mister. So had to have one just to keep me going. Wiggy videos. Press the on button, you wrong'un. Thank you, Wiggy. Jilly B. Hello, Adrian. Nice to see you. Thank you, Jilly. Are you a newbie? First timer, Jilly? Welcome to the channel. And also Seamoon Maria. Hello, Adrian. Hello, Seamoon. Andrew. Really big mug, yes, size, Queen. Wiggy videos. All tea and no... Oh, tell me about it. All tea, no biscuits and no Battenberg. Shall I say that? To Peter Aaron. Hello, Adrian. It's working. Don't touch anything. You mean anything? Both hands on the desk. Dave Bevan. Evening, Adrian. Evening, Dave. Sorry, David. Who else did I miss? Andrew. Hello, big boy. Yeah, size Queen again, Andrew. Let's have a go. Dame Anna. Hello, people. Hello. And... Toxicology. I always miss these. Just a flying visit to say hello since it hasn't started yet. But it has toxicology, so you'll have to play about with it on the catch-up, if you know what I mean. To David Bevan, toxic greetings. CM training. Hi, everyone. My brother met Savile twice, and on one occasion, he was shouting and upset as no one responded to him in the cafe, as they all knew about him. Savile and Mr. Harris with young girls. Mr. Harris. Who's Mr. Harris? CM training. Trying to think. I know it was Dave Eager, but who's... Not Rolf. Rolf. Wow. CM training. Hello, Adrian. Hello, all. Mr. John Up. Good evening, Adrian. Yeah, wrong'un. And hello, fellow YouTubers. CM training. All the kids in the children's ward were told if the key drops on the floor, then drop off to sleep, as Savile is about. Oh, they even had secret signals. Right, lovely. Well, welcome to a... rough. Sounds like somebody throwing up. I don't know why he would choose that name. His showbiz name. It's like rough or rough. Fill you in. What's the active ingredient in the peyote cactus, Adrian? Huachuma. Or they call it the San Pedro, don't they? The St. Peter cactus. That's because you go up and you were almost touching the cloth of God. Not touching the cloth of... But I will be talking about that. Touching the cloth. Just a little while. Tower Block Tracy. Rolf Harris. Oh! Huachuma. And William, the owner of the Cow Say retreat. I'm waiting for him. He's doing another 8-day retreat, so I'm waiting for him to complete that because I want to get him on here. I want him to just tell people how wonderful things are when you are... I mean, DMT seemingly is supposed to be illegal in this country. In Peru, they go licking frogs. Frogs? Not me. What tumor? No. Hua, as in Juan. One. Huachuma. Yeah, it's the cactus. And the shaman goes away, boils the huachuma for 12 hours or something, and then distills whatever he's got out of the cactus into a tea, and then you imbibe the tea, and then off you go. Fabulous. I mean, I've never... Because I've just got zero tolerance around recreational stuff and don't hardly drink nowadays. I mean, I did when I was a boy, but never smoked, never done anything. I mean, drugs was all around me. When I was at school, everybody was sniffing glue. None of this pills or weed or anything like that. And I can say all of this because this is not monetized. YouTube don't like you talking about drugs. But so to go and have the ayahuasca, and before I went out there, I thought, well, you know, there's other massive YouTubers that have done it, and one of my heroes, Graham Hancock, he's done it. And then once I've done it, I'm thinking, hang on, have they really done it? Ayahuasca, because they're called brujos, not that kind of hose, brujos, which is the shaman make sure that there's extra DMT in it. That's why some people have done it so many times that they start licking frogs, because frogs excrete the DMT. We naturally, as a human being, excrete DMT. But some of these people are so hardcore, they want to get completely off their nut. I just wanted to, you know, drift along and not care in the world. Dame Anna said I'd be scared shitless to try anything like that. To be fair, Dame Anna, so was I. God, I just thought, what on earth am I going to, you know, am I going to be clawing off the ceiling? What's going to go on? Am I going to run around naked? I mean, no, I'll keep that one for later. No, I look, when I suddenly go quiet and my eyes cross over, it's because I'm trying to work a million things of how to say what I want to say and if I can get away with it. There is a street in Nottingham where I went to a dinner party with my then girlfriend, and they brought out the Leone wine, and it's called the Leone wine because that's the Mr. Leone made it, and they said to me, don't, just drink it like a shot, Adrian, just drink it. And I was like, what you shandy drinkers? Oh, and they went, no, it's honestly, don't drink it in big wine glasses, just like in little shots. I was like, you shandy drinking southerners. No, I'm from Sunderland, man. We drink proper beer up there. We eat curries, knuckle scraping. Anyway, I only had one glass. Next thing they know, I'm naked in the front street, running up and down, shouting that immortal line from Hill Street Blues, I'm buck naked. They managed to get me screaming I'm buck naked into the car and get me home. I was in a right state, one glass, right state. Anyway, this is sort of July, August time. And the cul-de-sac, the street, had a Christmas party. And the only subject that was on their lips was, here, Darren, who was the bloke that was running up and down the street shouting, I'm buck naked? Thankfully, my reputation is still intact. Told you, 1,000,001 stories. Tower Block Tracy, tip X pens. What? Oh, wiki videos. Sniffing felt tip pens is about as much as I got up to. Oh, everybody in my school, it was a comprehensive school. And nobody had any money, so how were they going to get off their nut? Glue. And it was a real big problem, bad problem. Mr. John Up would have paid good money to say that, Adrian. A lot of the women in Nottingham would have done, Mr. John Up, so I'm told, afterwards, maybe, sort of. Andrew, I saw some live bands who did comeback tours after Savile died. They all mentioned what Savile was like. One famous band, I won't mention, said they were scared to report Savile's shenanigans. Well, look at Johnny Lydon. Johnny Rotten, when he was in the Pistols, they all knew, and so they said it. And the BBC, oh no, don't say anything. It's the BBC for you. Terry Wookfit, peyote cactus, active ingredient is mescaline. What blooming next mescaline? Ayahuasca is a psychedelic infusion made up of the extract of two Amazon plants, the ayahuasca and the chakran. Yeah, see, you look at you. I'm as dim as a 40-watt light bulb. I wouldn't know what mescaline or DMT is. Dimethyl-tryptamine or something. Because I'm not... My generation, it was drink. It was drink and the odd fag. But, you know, you had the hippies in the 60s doing their weed. But by the time you got into the 70s, then it got into speed. Because it was... speed is a really grubby drug. Didn't take it. No friends that have. No friends that didn't sleep for 4 or 5 days. Got all the housework done, but didn't sleep for 4 days. And then it kind of got into a bit more weed in the 80s. And then we get into the hug drug. We get into ecstasy or MDMA. And then it just goes off the charts. I mean, ketamine is a real bad problem nowadays. Horse tranquilizer, ketamine. Seemingly it gives you a rush. It's like speed, but a little more gentle. But I don't know, because I'm not prepared to take any of these drugs to find out. This was a retreat, a medicinal retreat in the Peruvian Amazonian jungle, and we were looked after by 4 shaman. Technically, one family of 3 shaman. The old boy, Don Pedro, he must have been 150th a day. He was the coolest guy in the world. Just shuffled in into the room, and then his son, who was in his 50s. He's just fabulous. Angus Mikoto, what's your thoughts on these people who don't want to appear in court? This young copper who was sentenced today, and Lucy Letby, for example, the system's a bloody mess. They should be forced to. I agree. If you're on trial, when the sentence is handed out, you need to be there. You need to be standing there, facing everyone, and doing your contrition thing. Junior Stevens, Johnny Wrong and Rotten. Really? Junior Stevens. Hello, everyone. Hello, Junior. See, I'm training. They only mentioned Savile at the 3 places, but my brother met him and Harris at another hospital. Was young Rov, his right-hand man. Terry Wookfit, it's okay, mate. You're from Town End Farm, where only to be expected. Thick as mince. Correct, Terry. Correct. You know, the two most famous people out of Town End Farm in Sunderland. It is a tough place. I'm telling you, it's a tough place. Not as tough as the East End of Sunderland, but it's still a tough place. Anybody that gets out of there obviously gets let out on good behaviour. But there's only 2 people that ever made it out there that has any kind of reputation or name or fame, if you wish, and that's Ian the Machine Freeman. Don't know whether you know of him. He's an ex-heavyweight MMA fighter, UFC MMA fighter, tasty boy. He can fight. I've seen him fight. He's a little younger than me, I think, a generation below me, but lovely man, lovely man. I've spoken to him. I was supposed to interview him on the BBC, but they sacked me. I was supposed to interview him on the Wednesday, I think it was, and on the Tuesday it was we're not renewing your contract. Fuck off. So I had to ring him on the Friday and go, Ian, I'm really sorry. I said, Ian, I'm really sorry. I got sacked. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, mate. Fill you in. It's mescaline in the fly, agaric, amentia, muscaria, shrooms. Okay. Well, it's in the cactus. Whatever they put in the cactus, I was told it was DMT, because I was absolutely whizzing my bits off. I've never felt energy. Well, I have felt energy like it, but not from something that I've imbibed. Just amazing. Would I do it again? Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. Absolute heartbeat. Would I do the ayahuasca again? That was because it's cleansing you out. It's getting rid of everything. It's getting, spiritual, physical, mental. It's cleansing you completely before you do the huachuma on the Friday. And would I do the ayahuasca again? Oh, that was tough. That was tougher than the huachuma. But I would do the huachuma every day. It was a fabulous deal. Andy Turner, DJ. I've DJ'd a few raves in my time. Me too, Andy. Not only was I on the radio in the 80s when sort of MDMA and ecstasy came in the clubs, because I was playing live in clubs and out, and it was kind of the Balearic thing. It was everywhere. And then Brian Harvey went and said, "Oh, I did about 20 and got off me nut." And there was questions in Parliament about it and everything. So I mean, I don't even do that much tea or coffee or caffeine. This is hibiscus, no caffeine. Is there now? Somebody's about to tell me that there's caffeine in hibiscus. Stephen Hall, drugs are bad news. Oh, completely agree. They ruin family. They ruin families. They ruin people. I mean, I have friends that are functioning alcoholics, and I'm amazed that they can function. I mean, literally, they've got to go to AA 3 times a day. Insane, just to make sure that they don't go on it. If they go on it, then it gets a bit lively. And drugs. Well, being around the nightclub scene from '83, I think the last club I did was around about the turn of the millennium, 2000, 2001. So I was around the clubs for 20 years and saw everything that people would use or not. Talblock Tracy says, not as bad as the spice drug. Spice girls, spice boys. Right. I think you're... do you know, I was saying to a friend today, I'm gonna start really quickly, start really early, get into the stuff, because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'm not going to do many of the comments. And what happens? You distract me. So before I get going, I'd rather spend a couple of hours with Adrian than 5 nights at Freddy's. 5 5s are 25. Taco 69. 5 5s are 20. Oh. You've got to be of a certain age for that gag, I presume. And that's why I don't monetize the lives. Because we can speak freely as adults, and we can talk about stuff that's important and not get censored by anyone. We can, oi, you're wrongin'. Talblock Tracy, wrongin'. Did they have wind-up gramophones in those clubs in the 80s? No. We had electric lights as well. Junior Stevens, on the last show, you said you had a story about Michael McIntyre. Are you talking about him tonight? No, he bores the liver out of me. I've not once laughed at his humour. Not once. So I can't. Check Tart, Andy Turner, what? So yeah, we've got 100 people watching this and 25 likes. You tarts, you utter wrong-uns. So come on, smash the likes. Because I've been told what it does via YouTube is that it makes the channel a little more popular. So when I make videos, it distributes the videos out to a greater audience, wider audience. I mean, some people talk about the algorithm. It's not an algorithm at all. It's just working out what the audience is and then super serving the audience. So if I talk about anything that people are interested in, they'll just, super serve that particular audience. So smash the likes if you can. I would like us to get to 100 again this evening. That would be lovely. Phil, you in? They had disco decks in the 80s. Yeah, and disco lights. I loved playing live. Still do. Love the buzz from getting a crowd whipped up, getting them dancing, having a fabulous time, and then just dropping the songs where the crowd goes nuts. I love all that. I mean, different technique in radio, different technique in clubs, different technique for this. Stephen Hall, we played discs on the radio then. Me too. I've played vinyl, CDs, and then where you don't have anything in your hands. You just press next and the computer does everything for you. Matt UK. Hello, Adrian. Good to see you on, matey. Good to see you, Matt. Wrong. Junior Stevens, who was your favourite comedian? Good question. It kind of varies. If I'm in a... See, I quite like stuff that you can't really say, that people don't like, that not to the Dice Man extent. Ricky Gervais roasting the Hollywood stars when he's doing the award shows. Love them, because it's just straight as a die, telling it like it is. Love it. But my favourite comedian is a comedian that died from cancer, and because I'm on here, my brain's not working properly. I can't remember his name. Oh man, I've got his books and everything. Let me think about it. It'll come back to me. Theo Bovril, I've come in late. What have I missed? You're wrong-uns. Not much, been talking drugs all night. Tower Block Tracy, if you were to play in a club today, bearing in mind you struggle with an iPhone, would it be a silent disco? Asking for a friend. You haven't got any friends, that's what you told me. Yeah, I've been to those silent discos. I mean, they're brilliant. They're brilliant fun. You're just dancing around and nobody can hear the music except you through your headphones. Do you know, Sean, you're my kind of man. Bill Hicks, the greatest comedian on planet Earth. Now, I looked at another video. So there's Bill Hicks right up there, numero uno, because Bill, what are we? We are merely the universe experiencing itself as consciousness. And I heard that for the first time. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And then he goes on to do his various routines, which were superb. And he just, you know how, I mean, I would love to do these lives, but I can't see your reaction. I would love to do them so that I got a reaction from you, so that I could literally hear the, as he just said that. Because when I did radio, I got away with it. And how did I get away with it? Because Peter Aaron, waffle waitress. I'm not waffling about anything, but I will tell anybody this who thinks that I'm a bit lightweight. Tonight, you're getting it between the eyes. So Bill Hicks, George Carlin, the best two comedians on planet Earth, bar none. And they told it like it is. So tonight, we're going to tell it like it is. I'm going to use language that I'm not allowed to use. I'm going to talk about subjects I'm not allowed to talk about. And I am giving it to you straight. So, did you take the Widowmaker? Did you take the jab? I was told yesterday, friend of mine, stomach cancer. He's not going to make it. Why? Because it's one of these turbo cancers that you get from the jab, the Widowmaker. And I bet you were rattling your pots and pans on your doorstep on a Thursday night going, we'll support and help the NHS. And this is October 2023. And you worked out that the mainstream media lied to you. And you worked out that the politicians lied to you. And you worked out that everything and everybody was at you because you're a cash cow. You're a thick as fuck cash cow. And what happened? Oh, I say, it's 2023, October 2023, and exactly the same thing's happening. You're going to have to wear masks again. They're telling you to take the flu jab that's got the COVID jab in it. And now you're believing the shit that you're reading in the newspapers. You are. 3 years ago, you could have got away with, oh, well, I didn't realise. 3 years down the line, after everything that you have seen, witnessed and experienced, and you are still sitting there going, oh, I'm not too sure. So I'll tell you this. I'm now going to give you a list of things that moral indignation where you would have gone, oh, I should have said something. Well, what happened to the XL bully attacks? What happened to the reportage in the newspapers around them? Oh, sorry, Adrian, I was distracted. What happened to the Bibby Stockholm that were going to house 500 of these economic migrants that are coming over to this country and being housed in 4-star hotels, £8 million a day, and you're going, oh, I'm not. I would hope that the critical thinkers that watch this channel actually get some of this. But there's a load of people that are still asleep. They're never going to wake up because they believe things. They believe that Meghan Markle had children. She had, well, maybe she doesn't have them now. She never had them. She was carrying a moon bump around with her for months. They're Harry's, not hers. Too posh to push. Lawrence Fox, what happened to him? What about the war in Ukraine? Whatever happened to Russell Brand? We had weeks of moral indignation. We had weeks of finger pointing. We had MPs turning round and trying to cancel him on social media. We had crooked MPs trying to do all sorts of stuff, and what happened to them? They've crawled back under the rock. Have you forgotten all these stories yet? Have you forgotten the COVID inquiry that's ongoing? And Rishi Sunak forgot his phone. Oh, I don't know where it is. It's not. I don't know. I will. Me missus made £2 million out of me being Chancellor. Nice. And where's his phone? Well, some YouTubers, some social media kids found his number, rang it, and Rishi's answer phone service is still on that phone, which tells me it's still active. And it tells me it's still Rishi Sunak's phone, the one with the WhatsApp messages on. And the COVID inquiry haven't been furnished with that phone. These people are crooked, man. But they do it in a suit and tie with a smile on their face. And don't talk to me about bankers. One, we've got a bankers' war in the Middle East that you think is about religion. They are trying every which way to get Iran involved so they can bomb the hell out of Iran. Iran's not doing anything. It's all in the media that lies to you. Why are you believing anything that you are reading in the tabloids day in, day out? Why? You're better than that. You're sharper than that. You've got this, but you still, you don't want this in. No, it's bullshit. They just crank up a different headline on the front so that you'll buy it, think that there's going to be something in that newspaper that you might have an interest in. Amanda Abington, what the fuck? As much as I like Strictly, so whatever happened to Sycamore Gap? Whatever happened to the sycamore tree? That was everywhere for like a week. It was the only thing because we were so outraged that somebody could do that to something so beautiful. What about the Chinese spy balloons? You forget about them. What about the monkeypox? Oh, you forgot about that one. Oh, this is all 2023. And what about 40 types of COVID? You forget about that. So, just remember this, and we'll go to the easiest one to remember. The tree, the sycamore at Sycamore Gap. Remember the tree. Chopped down about a month ago, so it's only 4 weeks. They found a chainsaw nearby and arrested a 16-year-old. And then a man in his 60s, a lumberjack, who strongly denied doing it and was arrested because he had a chainsaw in his shed. People thought it was solved. No. Both men were released. Wonder why? So nobody was ever brought to account for this crime. No one. Zero. Nix, nada, nilch, F all. So this is what happens in Great Britannia. There's a load of fuss. Non-stop coverage in the media and on social media, and everybody, like arseholes, has got an opinion on social media. And most of it is bullshit because they're getting all their information from the bullshit papers. Quick arrest so that the police get some credit, then the accused is quietly let go and nobody is held to account for the destruction of a 300-year-old tree, a national treasure. And then they want us to forget about it because you are distracted. You're distracted from the crooks. You're distracted from the crooks who use you as a cash cow. Until I mentioned it tonight, were you talking about the Sycamore Gap today? No. Were you talking about the XL bully attacks that have been almost daily for the last month? No. Did you talk about who was making money through COVID via your taxes? No. Anybody worked out what happened to Dan Wootton? Look at all the reportage around that boy. Nix, nada, nout. Russell Brand, accused of really bad crimes. Nout. Zero. Nix. Nada. And what about Scove? It was unwise, but not illegal. And where's Hugh Edwards? Has he got his mobile phone with him? I'm not sending him a picture. But he's happily showing his arse to the world, Mr. Edwards. But all of that, can you see the reportage that's been ongoing? Day in, day in, day in, day in. Distraction, distraction, distraction. And what are they distracting you from? A couple of things. One, the bankers' war. The cap on the bankers' wages in London have been obliterated. They're gone. So 2008 is going to look like a tea party. You're struggling with your heating bills, your lighting bills, your utility bills, your mortgage bills. You are struggling to the nth degree. And these idiots in the Pink Palace in London are not struggling at all because they get everything paid for them. So why should they care about you? They don't care if you die. They don't care if you live. They don't care what kind of life you have. They don't care. And you're asking these people to lead us out of the shite. That's never going to happen in a month of Sundays, so long as they're getting a couple of mil in their back pocket, so that when they leave Parliament, they're moneyed up. Big time. Some people are saying that Rich Boy Sunak, the schoolboy, cockeyed, he's a decent guy. I've never met, apart from Mo Molam, we opened a McDonald's once on Teesside together. But I don't know of a single politician that I would say has any integrity, any decency, or any truth about them. Because they're not interested in you or I. They only want our taxes. That's all they want, so that they can award PPE contracts to their mates. So they can award contracts left, right and centre, depending on the ministry, to friends who will make bridging. Andy Turner, where has all the money gone from the masks and the respiratory masks? Like the guy owned a pub that said he will make respiratory masks and Dyson were in the money. It's all grubby. It's all money grabbing. It's all they stand in front of the camera and they just say the right thing. They're all globalist now. They're not looking after little England. They're not looking after the United Kingdom. They're not even looking after Great Britain. They're looking after themselves. They're not interested in, and when they get found out, it's only, they say, John, they all talk the talk. They're all bullshitters. They're all Billy bullshitters. They're very good bullshitters. They're very intelligent bullshitters, but they're off doing nefarious things. Look, I can tell you that there were, because I don't know if there are, but there were paedophiles on an industrial scale in the Houses of Parliament. I can tell you that I sat in a radio studio being told by one of the other presenters that the 12-year-old, the young boy in reception that I said I will go and get a Coke for, a little drink for, was with Leon Britton. It wasn't his son. What do you think he was doing? Sir Greville Janner. I know Sir Greville Janner used to hang about with another politician, Edward. And Sir John Gielgud, and what they got up to, I can't even repeat. I can't. Because I'll wind up in the same place. So I have seen things with my own eyes. Greville Janner, that when he was alive, he said, because he was a very, very clever man, he was a lord, let's try the facts, not try the person. I've told you. Look at the picture, find it. Michael Jackson, Greville Janner, outside the Houses of Parliament. And look who else is in the picture with them. Wonder why that is then. Because somebody went to Greville Janner and said, my mate Michael wants to come and see the Houses of Parliament. Did they move in the same circles? Did Edward take them out on the yacht? Eddie, you've missed it, man. So, we're nearly 25 minutes in and I haven't got started. So, I am going to give you some information this evening that you need to know. Because I've had a year of just being gentle with you. I've had a year of giving you a cuddle and being light and frothy. But now's the time where we need to get into it. We've had it for 12 months. You've had the frothy. I've given you the light stuff. But now we need to look at the stuff that really matters. Because you and I are awake. You and I know. You and I need to wake everybody else up. Because if we don't, we're all lost. The New World Order, that was years ago. Forget that. It's gone past that now. And Klaus Schwab, he's just the front, he's just a puppet. He's been worked. Don't you get it? The people that are in control never step out of the shadows. Never. He's the mouthpiece. Agenda 2030? What do you mean, what's that? That's going to be completed by 2027. And now that they've got World War III almost kicking off, and look, let me give you some jigsaw pieces. And just take them for what they are. Are you aware, in fact, are you aware? Can you see that? I don't know whether it's showing this backwards or frontwards, but can you see that in the FT? Yesterday's, I think. Ukraine are going to build their own arms industry. Why the hell would they do that? Oh, well, they're fighting Russia. Oh, please wring my neck, man. It's a banker's war. You forget that Putin, and seemingly there was a rumour that Putin had a heart attack on Sunday. Did you see that? No. That's not been in any of the newspapers. Don't be stupid. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you informed. They want you as thick as pig shit. So they can say to you, Amanda Abingdon's left Strictly. Oh, woe is me. Oy vey, my life. So, you've got a warlord who's been given $6.2 billion by the CIA. Now, they are not very happy. They're not very happy at all because they need to recoup the $6.2 billion. And there's America giving Iran $6 billion. And, you know, the Americans are busting their nuts day in, day out to pay their taxes. And America's economy is in a worse position than ours. Their car repossessions are going through the roof. Their mortgage defaulting is going through the roof. America is bust. And America gives Iran $6 billion. Now, why would they give Iran $6 billion? It's Joe Biden, the crime family, the Biden crime family. They're diverting your attention. Oh, look at that. We've got a Republican, a Speaker of the House today. And he's a Trump ally, of course. And some people go, look, I'm not really interested in politics. That's the whole point. They don't want you to be. So they bore the tits off you so that you don't take any interest in politics. It is the entertainment arm of the military-industrial complex. They don't want you engaging with politics. They would rather have nobody vote at the general election. They would rather have nobody vote at any election whatsoever. And as, what's his face? Ken Livingstone said, if voting changed anything, they would abolish it. It was the title of his bloody book, man. So the politicians are filling their trouser pockets as quick as they can go, as hard as they can go, and they're not interested in what you think, what you do, or what you care about. They don't even care about the NHS that might just keep you alive. They don't care if you die. Somebody else will have another one. And why do you think they've got all these economic migrants coming in the country? Because we're not producing enough babies to sustain all of the systems within society. That's why they're doing it. America's got worse immigration than we have. It's everywhere, all the countries around the world. And do you know what today is? Don't say Thursday, you cheeky tart. It's Rich Boy Sunak's anniversary. I'm not talking wedding. I'm talking about he's been a year in power. So I'm going to give you, so this boy couldn't lie straight in bed. I mean, for comedic value, schoolboy or rich boy, however you want to term it, but have you looked at when he's with other world leaders? The sixth former just trots in behind them. One year ago, Rich Boy Sunak stood on the steps of 10 Downing Street and told you this. So can you see where everything's gone tonight? I've made you aware that you forget. I've given you the stories that you've forgotten about. And you forgot what Rich Boy Sunak said on the steps of 10 Downing Street. He couldn't believe his luck. Buffoon Johnson, who's still filling his trousers, he gets an honorary doctorate or something from a Ukraine university. How does that work? It's corrupt. All of it's corrupt. And the buffoon has got to wait decades before he gets his seat in the Lords, mind you. He should have taken the one he gave to his daughter. You didn't realise, did you? Check out who Boris put in the House of Lords. The press haven't been able to say it because the proverbial would really hit the fan. Really hit it. She looks like him. Well, who am I? I'm just some daft arse that calls people wrong uns. Really? 40 years at this game. So, Prime Monster, Schoolboy Sunak. This is what he said verbatim. I'm going to give you this because you need to hear this again. Just remember, when I started this channel, I told you, where was the decency? Where was the integrity? Where was the truth in our leaders? Where was the integrity? Where was the decency? Where was the truth in anybody doing anything, anywhere, including social media? So, the schoolboy. Good morning, Prime Monster. I have just been to Buckingham Palace and accepted His Majesty the King's invitation to form a government in his name. I think you'll find it was his missus that shook his hand first. Come on, man, grow a backbone. It is only right to explain why I'm standing here as your new Prime Minister, because the Tory party couldn't find anybody else to do it, mate. Liz Truss didn't even beat the lettuce. Right now, our country is facing a profound economic crisis. And have a guess who caused that? Rishi, mate. The aftermath of COVID still lingers. I can still smell it, Rishi. It's called Michelle Moan. Putin's war in Ukraine has destabilised energy markets and supply chains the world over. It's not Putin's war at all. Heart attack on Sunday. You didn't read that, did you? I want to pay tribute to my predecessor, Liz Truss. She was not wrong to want to improve growth in this country. It is a noble aim. So long as you're making money for yourself, eh, Rishi? And I admired her restlessness to create change and nearly bankrupt the country. My words, not his. But some mistakes were made. No shit, Sherlock. Not born of ill will or bad intentions, quite the opposite in fact, but mistakes nonetheless. Did he make any while he was Chancellor? He died to help out. And I have been elected as leader of my party and your Prime Monster in part to fix them. So you create the shite, Rishi, and it's like these defence contractors will give you the landmines, and then when the war's over, we'll come in and we'll take them away for you. Double bubble. And that work, fixing things, begins immediately. So are you remembering any of this, or had this completely gone in the fog of war? I will place economic stability and confidence at the heart of this government's agenda. Remember that, economic stability. So he's upped the taxes. Well, he didn't cut them, so he's upped them in effect. And your mortgage has gone up, the interest rates, the banks are not passing them on to you, and your utility bills have gone up. So please tell me you're better off today than you were a year ago when Rishi Sunak stood on the steps of 10 Downing Street and told you that he will place economic stability and confidence at the heart of this government's agenda. My hairy backside. This will mean difficult decisions to come. Not for you, Rishi, mate. For everybody else, there was pensioners last winter had to decide whether to eat or heat. And you're telling everybody that's looking at how much money they've got going, Jesus, we can't afford the mortgage, what are we going to do? But you saw me during COVID. I did, Rishi. And I knew there was no such thing as a free lunch, but I was being told there was. But you saw me during COVID doing everything I could to protect people and businesses with schemes like furlough. Lazy-ass workers who thought they'd get 80% of what they were being paid to do now, except lie on the sofa and watch Phil and Holly on This Morning. And look what happened to that. There are always limits, more so now than ever, but I promise you this. Are you ready? I will bring that same compassion to the challenges we face today. The government I lead will not leave the next generation, your children and grandchildren, with a debt to settle that we were too weak to pay ourselves. Ugh! I will unite our country, not with words, but with actions. So is that visiting President Macron, Rishi? Giving him 500 million to keep the economic migrants on the other side of a channel. And he didn't. So what are you going to do? Oh, right, you're going to go off. He went to see the wrong Bibi. He went to see Netanyahu in Israel. Anything we can do for you, Benjamin? How much? Oh, yeah, we can facilitate that. He should have been working out how many people we can get on the bloody Bibi Stockholm, not Bibi Netanyahu. Wrong one. Now, he says, I will work day in and day out to deliver for you. That's me. That's you. That's me and you. That's the man and woman on the street. Not some bloke that wears suits that cost thousands of pounds. And I bet his pair of socks cost at least 100 quid. Some kids in this country don't have a meal every day. Some kids in this country don't even have shoes on their feet. There is child poverty in this country. Ask that great Manchester United player, Rashford. Don't even get fed at school. So this boy says, I will work day in, day out to deliver for you. Bullshit. Utter bullshit. This government will have integrity. My hairy ass, Rishi. This government will have integrity, professionalism, and accountability at every level. So show us the bloody accountability. Give your phone to the COVID inquiry. Give your WhatsApp messages to the people that need to know what you were saying behind everybody else's back, apart from your own. He says on the steps of 10 Downing Street, trust is earned and I will earn yours. Fuck off, Rishi. Do your hell. I will always be grateful to Boris Bojo Johnson for his incredible achievements as Prime Minister. Why? How much money did he make? We know how many kids he's knocking out. Jesus, if the FA need a spare team, and I treasure his warmth and generosity of spirit. Buffoon! And I know he would agree that the mandate my party earned in 2019 is not the sole property of any one individual. Correct, Rishi, you were never elected to be Prime Minister. You were chosen by the Backroom Boys 1923 committee, the one that got rid of Thatcher. You were given prime MP area. What do you call it? Seat. Sedgefield. Is it Sedgefield or Richmond? Richmond. Richmond's rich. I know Richmond like the back of my hand. I've played cricket on the green in Richmond. It's not London, but you'd still have to pay $1 million plus for a house in Richmond. Oh. And there have been other prime ministers that have had Richmond as their MP seat. So just remember, Rich Boy Sunak said, it is the mandate that belongs and unites all of us. This boy is talking out of his arse. This was a year ago. And we were living in hope. We were hoping that the buffoon that lied to us, that had all the parties in number 10 Downing Street, as has been proven as fact. And he didn't even give his WhatsApp messages to the COVID inquiry. They're not. I mean, you've now got the head of the civil service. You've got Rishi Sunak, Bojo ducking all the bombs. And they're not giving up their WhatsApp messages. Why would that be? What have they got to hide? Because if they didn't have anything to hide, if they were straight up and down, give your WhatsApp messages to the COVID inquiry. And here is Rich Boy Sunak's manifesto from a year ago. I will deliver on its promise. A stronger NHS. Mate, Rishi. Better schools. That Keir Starmer's going to come in. Safer streets. My hairy arse. I know through personal experience, black on black knife crime is an epidemic in London. I know. Knife crime. XL bully crime. Our streets are not safe. They're not safe at all. And the kids are thinking, well, we're going to go out with a knife because somebody else is going to have a knife. I've got to have a knife to defend myself. I can't go into what I know, but I am telling you, these have seen it. And I know. And it's an adult conversation that needs to be had. And yet this man that's supposed to be leading the country can't have that conversation. He says, well, it was possibly a Palestinian missile that hit the hospital. He reckons we should, and at the heart of that mandate is our manifesto. I will deliver on its promise. So I'll go through this again. A stronger NHS. I will deliver on its promise for better schools. I will deliver on its promise, safer streets. Here's the kicker. I will deliver on its promise to control our borders. He said that on the steps of 10 Downing Street. So now you know that this boy is a liar. He has not delivered in any way, shape or form other than somebody's made a few bob out of bringing the Bibby Stockholm into our waters and sticking 500 of them. There's more than 500 that needs homes. And now they're saying, well, we're going to take them out of 4-star hotels. Who the bloody hell decided? Which desk did it go across where somebody just ticked it and said, right, they can have 4-star hotels? How many of you live in 4 or 5-star luxury at home? Tell me. And yet these clowns in clown world are allowing economic migrants that have put nothing into this country. Nothing. Nix. Nada. Nout into this country. They're putting 4-star hotels. They're given 175 quid a week. For nout. And then if they want to have kids, if they want to knock the missus up and have the kid here, it's all free. And they're telling us we're the wrong uns, we're the bad uns, we're so bigoted that we don't allow these people in our country because we're looking at it thinking, what the holy Jesus hell are you doing to the politicians? When I can't get an appointment with my doctor, I can't get an appointment at the hospitals are overrun. The doctors can't handle it, the nurses can't handle it, the NHS is faltering and crumbling, and yet these clowns on the step of 10 Downing Street are saying they're going to have control of our borders. Bullshit. Protecting our environment. What does that mean, Rishi? Because I've got 2 words to say to you. First 2 are hyphenated before anybody decides to get clever. Ozone layer. We were told we were all going to die in the 80s. We were going to die of AIDS, or the ozone layer was going to burn up the planet. And the ozone layer fixed itself, healed itself. And yet the politicians stood there. Now, these are supposed to be the most intelligent people in the land. The reason why they're in politics is for the greater good. And the reason why they're in the Houses of Parliament and the House of Lords is because they are able to lead us effectively, protecting us from any ill will. But it's not. They're telling us that we're bigoted, racist, and we don't know, actually, we have no empathy or compassion for our fellow man or woman or child. How very dare they? Bullshit. And they're going to support our armed forces. I'll say it again. I will deliver on its promise, supporting our armed forces. Just tell us how you've done that, Rishi. Because the funding's being cut year on year on year on year on year. And even the economic migrants, 4-star hotels, and what do our squaddies get? Squalor. So listen to him, because it's nearly finished. Levelling up and building an economy that embraces the opportunities of Brexit, where businesses invest, innovate, and create jobs. So just tell me, Rishi, because you said this, it's your speech, it's in the public domain. How exactly have you invested, innovated, and created jobs for the English man and woman? Oh, forget Willie Cranky, Jimmy Cranky. Forget Nicola Sturgeon. It took her 53 years to pass a driving test. Clown. And she sent out a press release this week saying, well, I was a bit too busy with politics, so I couldn't take my driving test. Well, at least she's got a van parked on the mother-in-law's drive that she can now take out around the Highlands and Islands of Scotland. Where did she get that from then? 53 years to pass your driving test. Rishi Sunak, I understand how difficult this moment is. No, you don't, mate. Because it got worse. After the billions of pounds it cost us to combat COVID, yeah, because you were filling everybody else's trousers with fucking taxpayers' money. After all the dislocation that caused in the middle of a terrible war that must be seen successfully to its conclusions, I fully appreciate how hard things are, and I understand too that I have work to do to restore trust after all that has happened. So do you think you've done that, Rishi? Bollocks. All I can say is that I am not daunted. I bet you weren't. I know the high office I have accepted, and I hope to live up to its demands. History will be the judge, schoolboy. But when the opportunity to serve comes along, you cannot question the moment, only your willingness, and he couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to get Bojo out of number 10 so he could go in. Blimey, I'm Prime Minister. Honestly, all the way through this, I've tried not to speak. I am a professional communicator. I have done this for 40 years, but sometimes I get so angry at the willingness to lie barefacedly to the country. He's not done any of this. Hogwash. But honestly, my Tourette's kicking, and I I've got to withhold with every fibre, not swearing profusely at this. Game Sniper, can you shout me out? Done. So I stand here before you ready to lead our country into the future, to put your needs above politics. How many times do you want me to give you the examples of how can you tell a politician's lying? His lips move. To reach out and build a government that represents the very best traditions of my party. What's that? Money grabbing and thievery, Rishi. Together we can achieve incredible things. Like a Middle Eastern war, Rishi. We will create a future worthy of the sacrifices so many have made and fill tomorrow and every day thereafter with hope. That was Rishi Sunak a year ago. It's his first anniversary today. Now, ordinarily, this would be an hour, but I've got things to say. So I would suggest if you can, you stay around because there's some stuff to come that will probably end up with me blowing my stack. I want to just take a sidestep for a moment. The next live is Sunday, 8 p.m, October 29th. this Sunday. I just want to take a sidestep because we had over the weekend, I made a video about it from the last live. It's been uploaded today about Sir Bobby Charlton. I did say a great Briton, a great man. And we've got all this frippery going on around us. So it's now my thoughts and my story of how Sir Bobby Charlton and I ended up talking is now available if you want to go and see it. If you're a newbie, please subscribe, smash the likes. We still haven't made 100 tonight, you utter wrong-uns. So we only need 10 more, please. Let's get through 100 if we can. Because if you hit the like button, it helps the channel videos get to a wider audience. So we'll talk about UN Chief Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Talk about him in a moment. We'll talk about the bankers' bonuses being axed. I mean, how corrupt. It's there right in front of your eyes. How corrupt do you want them to be before you say, stop? It was corrupt in 2008. That's why they had to, the leaders of the world had to meet to stop us from absolutely tanking every economy around the world. Gordon Brown. Oh, if only I could tell you my story about him. I will end up dead. Have you heard about lesbian Nana? It has had me roaring with laughter today because some numpty of a cop has gone into a house where a young autistic girl, there's something going on and a couple of cops go along to see what's going on. And the autistic girl just blurts out, oh, you look like my lesbian Nana. So this cop takes great offence at it. And they detain the girl for hate speech. An autistic child. Hate speech. And then today, lesbian Nana is in Leeds or the area, West Yorkshire. She's a West Yorkshire cop. And she starts, they call it pepper spray, but it's parver. She starts parvering all the people standing around her. I mean, that's a cop that's out of control. That's a cop whose training didn't work. She's parvering everybody. And do you know that she will have to justify her actions because that's a firearms? Parver is considered firearms. And when you discharge a firearm, you have to be ready to face your own bullet. She should be fired. I think she's a danger to herself and she's a danger to other subjects of this country because we're subjects, not citizens. That's a real pet hate. We are subjects of the crown. Doesn't matter which way you slice it. We are subjects of the crown. We are not citizens of this country. They like us to be citizens of Europe so they can get our money. So this lesbian Nana is too funny. Everywhere. All we hear is lesbian Nana. It's like a Queen song, Radio Gaga. All we hear is lesbian Nana. Brilliant. Sack her. Sack her. Because you can't keep her on the streets. And if you put her in behind a desk, it'll look like it's corruption. Because the whole country's now looking at West Yorkshire Police going, okay, this cop is out of control and you're going to do what about it? The public are not safe around her. She's a danger to herself, let alone the public. You can't put her behind a desk. How the bloody hell did you hire her in the first place? So, everything you wanted to know, but you were afraid to ask. Using pepper spray or parva, she has to justify doing that. And there's video everywhere. She sprayed at least 6 people. They weren't attacking her. Her and her colleagues weren't under threat. There was a large crowd, but her backside went. She forgot her training. She has to have a legitimate reason for discharging parva. It's a firearms, I've told you that. She dragged an autistic girl out of her home for saying the officer looked like her lesbian nana. So now the public know exactly who this cop is. The only resolution? Sack her. Family Guy. I don't know whether you're interested in Harry and Meghan, but they're just more clowns. They're just a bigger distraction. And I can't work out whether these two are so dim that they can't work out that we don't give a flying. We don't give a flying. You've got millions secreted away. You've got privilege beyond privilege. You're one of the oldest bloodlines on planet Earth. And you're just being an arse. We're not interested. So there's Family Guy, and I've watched it. I've watched the episode. There's hardly any Harry and Meghan in it. The only bit you see is maybe, I don't know, a minute or so. They're a laughing stock, and she's just mutton dressed as lamb. Now we get to the bankers' bonuses. Who decided this? Put the name next to the decision. Was it Rishi? Because they act like presidents in this country. They're not prime ministers nor cabinet, but they act like presidents. So was it Rishi? Who made the decision to relax the bankers' bonuses axing? Oh, sorry, the cap has been axed, rather, not the bonuses, or the bonuses. They might keep it quiet for a year or two, and then they'll just go, boom, explode. So they can pay themselves whatever they want. Banking's corrupt. And just remember, the Rothschilds want Iran's central bank. That's why they're going into Iran. Not because it's a religious war, not because they're providing arms or armaments to Lebanon, who's only a little country, or Gaza. It's because the powers that be, the one world order that you think, some people call them the Illuminati, are they my hairy arse? It's the banking family that just want Iran's central bank. China's teetering on collapse. Russia's still quite solid while they've got a war going on. Syria's collapsed. I think they've already got that one. There were 6 of them that they needed for a full house. It's a banker's war. Just remember, it's a banker's war. I could sit here and regale you with fact after fact after fact after fact. Newspapers won't. The newspapers are reprinting lies that I've told you and giving you the facts around lies. No baby beheading. That journalist needs to be taken out and sent back to America. Or I heard one of the IDF talking about it. Did you bollocks? So now, have you noticed how, unless you're on their side, you're not on their side? They're making everybody choose sides in a Middle Eastern war that they want to escalate because there's Bibi, Benjamin Netanyahu. Oh, we're Joe, give us 10 billion, man. $10 billion, that's all I'm asking for. And then all of a sudden, Joe Biden goes, well, we need to give, $100 billion. Who's asked the American taxpayers? $100 billion. What the actual? I've told you. The Biden crime family. There have been money laundering from Beijing into a no, I'm not going to tell you. I've told you once. I'll leave that for the moment. Millie, we are nothing more than collateral damage to these people. I completely agree, Millie. And Echo's Bunny Woman, correct. It's always about the oil. Let me tell you about the oil. Back in 9/11 was used to get the oil out of the ground. Now, there were 2 sites of oil. In the 80s, the Russians went into Afghanistan because they wanted to get the flatten the Tora Bora mountain range where the Afghanistanis were hiding. The reason why they wanted to flatten the Tora Bora mountain range was because they wanted the oil out of the Caspian Sea. And at current consumption levels, this was back in 2000, there were 300 years worth of oil under the Caspian Sea that they wanted out. They wanted it out through a pipeline, which Putin, when he went to Bush's ranch 3 days after 9/11 to agree to build this pipeline. Why the hell would they want to build a pipeline 3 days after 9/11? Because there was 300 years worth of oil under the Caspian Sea, and they wanted it down through various countries to a warm water port in Pakistan. And then they wanted another massive big oil deposit under the Black Sea, and they wanted that via a pipeline through Yugoslavia. Can you remember Slobodan Milosevic? Died of a heart attack, seemingly. Oh, that was convenient, because Slobodan told the Americans and everybody else, you're doing nothing in my country, mate. I run my country. I'm in charge. Off. And the Americans went, oh, all right then. Oof. Lifted, jailed, heart attack, gone. Don't know whether the pipeline's been built yet, but the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea would have kept the world going. And Iran, the last figures I saw, Iran was only running at 4% of capacity. So it's double bubble. They go into Iran, they secure the oil, and Iran's running at 4% of capacity, and they also get the central bank. I mean, they couldn't be happier. They literally must be wetting their trousers with excitement at getting Iran. But will they? So the UN chief, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, he denounced clear violations of international law in the Gaza conflict. Notice how it's called the Gaza conflict. Have you noticed how they're now calling them Gazans, not Palestinians? The mainstream media are filth. They're just doing what their paymasters tell them to report. He condemned both sides, and Israel is furious at his remarks. So it's pick a side. There's two sides. You can pick any side you want, so long as it's ours. How does that work? According to the Secretary General of the UN, flagrantly disregarding international law. So who's going to go and arrest them then? Well, nobody. Because the people that want to make the money are putting billions into this. They want billions in and they want trillions out. That's what it's all about. And the Palestinians reported 700 more dead today. Did the Israelis? No. And the US, Joe Biden, I mean, bless him. If he could construct a complete sentence, it would amaze me. The US adding to pressure for Israel to pause bombardment and allow in more aid. Why wouldn't they? As in the Israelis, why wouldn't they allow aid in? Why wouldn't they allow the women and children out? It's a bit like when Pharaoh tried to put all the Jews to death, all the firstborn. Remember? Biblical. Put the firstborn to death. They've got no young men that can come and fight. Biblical. And the United Nations Secretary General said that civilian protection was paramount. I agree. We are humankind. We are a species. We should be supporting each other, regardless of borders, religion, countries. We should be supporting each other. And look, I've said this before. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. So let's join the dots with the Ukraine war. The Russian invasion. It was weapons procurement. Didn't you get that? So Ukraine races to roll out its own arms industry. Why would they want to do that? Well, Zelensky wanted to have a meeting with Israel. Asked, begged, wanted, and was told no. Told no by the Americans, told no by the Israelis, being told no by other world leaders. But why would they want to meet with Israel? There's the clue. They are racing to roll out their own arms industry. So if it's going to escalate in the Middle East, everybody wants a piece of the pie, including Zelensky and Ukraine. It's a banker's war. Defense contractors are making billions. Wouldn't surprise me if they got to trillions if this escalates. And surely somebody somewhere should be able to lead the Middle East to peace. Unless there's one party that doesn't want peace, that wants a land grab. It's been going on for 100 years. We had peace in the Middle East. And as I've said to you before, we're given names of leaders of Hamas. We're told who the leaders of Hamas are, but we've not seen them. Maybe they won't flush out because they know that there's a sniper bullet that might take their head off the shoulders. But if that is the case, then the mainstream media can tell you anybody is a leader of Hamas. Hamas might not actually exist. Give me the proof. We're sitting on the end of our computers or on the end of our phones, and whatever we look for in our search engines or whatever the mainstream media tells us, that's all we've got. But I don't believe anything until I see it with my own eyes. And I'm all for balance. So I've had a go at schoolboy Sunak. Let's have a go at Keir Starmer. He's at PMQs today. He can't even swear properly. He's got no backbone. He went into the chamber and he can't even, he said, F off. Keir, you would have got more respect if you told Rishi Sunak to fuck off. But no. He said F off. Stop playing, Keir. He'll have you on a leash next. I mean, be careful what you wish for. I've told you this before. I believe that it doesn't matter what the pollsters or polls say. I think everybody in this country is going to be nervous because the last time these clowns were in power, there was a note left at the Exchequer. There's nothing left. That was in the note. We've spent it all. There's now left. And the Tories spent 13 years trying to work out where the money was and then filling their pockets with it. So now we're going to put these clowns that said there was no money last time because they took the country to bankruptcy. Remember Gordon Brown? He sold all of our gold at the bottom of the market. 500 million worth of actual physical gold. He flogged it off at the bottom of the market. What a clown. What an utter buffoon. And he likes to, there's Tony Blair coming out, there's Gordon Brown coming out, there's Mandy Mandelson coming out. Why are they all coming out? Because they want a bit of the power. So let's have a think. Of those three names that I've just mentioned, which one of them were on Epstein's flight logs? Because we were told it was about girls, weren't we? Mandy Mandelson. He was on the manifest on the Lolita Express. And you would have an Epstein cohort back in power in this country? Give your head a wobble. So join the dots. Sir Keir Starmer, he's part of the global elite, the global agenda. He's going to do what he is told. The game is to get into power and make as much money as you can, as quickly as you can, before you get dumped by the electorate. So that's what he's going to want. The Tories are done. They're finished. Rich boy Sunak finished him off. I mean, I know Bojo was a buffoon, but he was the only hope that they had. And they got rid of him. The letters? So Rich Boy has killed off the Tories. I don't think they're going to get him for 2 terms, at least. If Keir Starmer is able to fool you long enough. Be careful what you wish for. There's Steve Coogan, the man of the moment after the reckoning. He said, and I quote, So Keir Starmer, he just waits to see how the wind is blowing. So before we go, thank you. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, and don't forget to ding the bell. I had lots more to say, but I think we'll save some for this coming Sunday. I think I need to be a little bit more direct with you. We'll do the fluffy stuff, but you need to get this game that's going on. We only have a few years. It's 2023. They want it done by 2027. They want this Middle East problem, issue, to escalate. Because then, welcome to hell, and you won't get out of it. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your indulgence. I hope you've enjoyed this live tonight. We'll do another this coming Sunday, the 29th, at 8 p.m. And there will be more videos coming in the morning. I'll see you in the next video. And please, don't forget the Battenberg.